Hello, I'm Daniela. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can incorporate rub-ons, the little paper arts, images, or text into your slow stitching pieces. Now, rub-ons are like stickers, except instead of having a little plastic coating and a backing and a sticky adhesive, they're just little sticky images, really, and you transfer them by rubbing them onto your work. They're coated with a little clear paper, and so the idea is you're pressing the image off that clear paper onto additional paper, but we're going to use it on fabric today. It gives a simple and different look. Now, not all rub-ons are created equal, so I'll show you some of the perils and some of the tips that I use to make this effective in my work.
Now here's one method for making patches for your slow stitching pieces. Well, faux patches we'll call them. They're not real patches. What I do is I took fabric, and then to get the image on them, I transferred it just with a little rub-on. Now, a rub-on is a paper product that's used in either scrapbooking or card making. They're called rub-on transfers. You can find them at the Dollar Tree, you can find them in scrapbook stores, you can find them online. They come with different images, different themes, even for the holidays. And that's how I got these Halloween versions. They all operate in the same way. Now, not all rub-ons are created equally. Some are easy to work with and some are not. A lot of it's trial and error, but I've found a few tips along the way. I had this beautiful set of rub-ons here. They're designed for furniture to put on like a table if you want to say decoupage it on. But with the rub-ons, they're gorgeous. And I found these on Amazon. They come in all different varieties. This one happened to be floral design, so each of the squares were different colors of floral flowers. This one's purple. It's beautiful. It's very glossy and shiny. And you cut it out just like you do with any rub-on, and you rub it onto your fabric. Now, I found that these, as beautiful as they were a disaster on fabric. In all fairness, they're not designed to work on fabric. So I was really kind of just testing my limits with them. I thought the images were just gorgeous. I did keep trying though, and I found I can get a decent transfer here. A few tricks. I ironed my muslin first, so it was very flat, and then I ironed it to a piece of freezer paper. Freezer paper, when you iron it, the wax coating will stick to the fabric, and then it can be peeled off when you're done with it. I had to really rub and burnish to get my image, and it came out, but I'm not going to use that technique again. I won't use those rub-ons for my fabric pieces. I just didn't like the way it looks. It's very glossy overall. And for other applications, that would be perfect, but I don't really care for it on fabric. So that was one no-no I learned. And sometimes you can find metallic rub-ons as well. Now, that was another one that really didn't work for me with the fabric. As you can see, the image isn't pristine. A lot of it wasn't really great. So that was another one that was a fail for me. But then I had some others that were successes, and that was really exciting. So a lot of it's hit and miss, and a lot of it could have been user error too, because I did find a method to transfer it by attaching it to the freezer paper backing and using it as a rub-on from there. But other than that, I got some very beautiful designs. Now let me show you just the quick process of doing this and just some tips along the way. So now to transfer your design, you'll need your sheet that the rub-on comes in. And for example, these I got off Amazon. They were beautiful, and they came back to back, so two sides. And these are all these gorgeous butterflies. And there are some labels, little postage stamp. So what you just do is choose the image that you want to transfer. So I'm going to take this butterfly down here just because it's easy to grasp. So you cut out your piece, cutting around it. You don't have to be precise. And then I just leave the rest of this attached. I'll put it back in the envelope and save it for future work. From there, I'll take a piece of fabric that fits my butterfly, but I actually prefer one that's a little larger. So I'll turn the butterfly this way. Now I have a lot of extra fabric here. I think I'll just leave it because I don't have an application for this particular piece just yet. So this will give me a little leeway. I can always attach something else here or add a button or something. I like to lean on a little book here. This is just a notebook. It has a little bit of give, but not so much give that I can't transfer the image. All you do is you separate, there are two layers here, the image on a clear piece of paper and then the background piece. So I just peel up that one piece, and I want to be careful that I don't touch the underside of that rub-on. If I do, as you can see here on a previous image, I transfer it to my finger and I can't use the image. So I'm going to be very careful here, again, separating those two pieces of paper, the backing from the transfer, not touching the transfer with my fingers, and then I just set it down. Now, if I don't like it exactly here, I have a little bit of leeway. I can pick it up and move it, but I don't want to press it down until I'm sure that I'm happy with its location. So I'm happy with it here. So now I can just press down on the top. The top is covered with some little mylar or clear acetate. I'm using a bone folder. You could use a dull knitting needle or any type of object like that, butter knife, anything that's not serrated, that's not sharp. And now I'm just going to gently press my entire image. When I was in grade school, we used to have letters that we had to use as rub-ons to identify our books. And so we'd have to go around with all the letters, adding our names. And then it just brings me back to that technique, because I can remember if you didn't get the entire image burnished, you didn't get the entire image on your book or wherever you wanted to put it. So after I go around once, and I really pay attention to the little parts of the piece here, like these little antennae, I'll go around the edge again. If you can get the piece started on the edge, when you peel it off, you're more likely to get a pristine image. So I've gone around my piece a few times. Don't want to rush this technique because you only get one chance to do this. You can't really go back and fix it for the most part. So now I'm going to come up to the edge here. Again, I'll burnish it one more time. I'm going to try and peel that paper back and slowly peel it up. And if I peel it up, I can see if the image transferred to the fabric, and it did. So now I'm just going to slowly peel it up, and as I'm peeling it up, I'm burnishing it again. I'll pull back a little, burnish it some more, and it should be all set at this point. Now, not every time you do this will you get a pristine image, and this worked very well. It's still soft and flexible. I could sew through it if I want, and now I have this little patch I can use in my slow stitching. And you can do that with all the pieces here. None of these have a shiny, really shiny coating like the one I showed you, my major fail. These are all just very shiny coating. That's the bag that they come in. But then they have these images, and it works out well. Now this image is kind of interesting because it's not color, it's black and white, and it worked beautifully. It's a little different in that I didn't have to peel off any paper. I just had to cut out my image, set it down, and burnish it. So this one was a little more forgiving, a little more durable. I like some of the images there. For this metallic image, it's two clear pieces, and I don't want to touch, again, the image that is on that piece of acetate. I'd cut around it just like normal, separate them, and use it. But I didn't find this to transfer to fabric very well. So that's how I use rub-ons in my work, particularly if I find an image that I really like. I can transfer it to fabric, and then I have a cute little patch to use.
So that's how I use rub-ons in my slow stitching pieces. Sometimes there's an image that I come across for a particular theme, or there's text on a rub-on that I really want to use in my slow stitching. I like to use it this way, and I can even make some ahead of time if I want. This is a particularly great idea and a great thing to use for the upcoming Christmas season, where we make a fabric book or a fabric folio, something along those lines. It's another technique, so keep your eye out for any of the Christmas themed or any themes that you happen to like if you come across some rub-ons, because it can be used in your sewing. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. Consider becoming a paid member of my channel, where I share behind-the-scenes footage and additional techniques. Thanks for joining me today.